see a lot of blogs where people are just saying, oh, look at us, look at us. It's important to have a point of view if you're going to have a blog. Have a point of view. Have something to say. And that causes engagement.
And storytelling, you get by practice. If you think today you're not a public speaker, if you are speaking to enough people, next week you'll be a good public speaker. So connect your online presence to your offline presence is the point that I want to make. And how it connects to measurement is the number of people you met qualitatively is a measurement. Because Souny met 40 people, 7 or 80 people, and 7 connected on Facebook, and 3 of them came to the business. That's an offline interaction that you could measure also.
So first of all, what I want to point out is that it's shocking how many people can't tell their story. And it's something that you really need to pay attention to. We'll have events with 15 very early companies who are kind of set up around the room and there to talk to people about what they're doing. And part of it is, what we tell everyone is use this as practice, use this to get experience and to get feedback. And if, halfway through the event, people are still giving you blank stares, it's a problem. Like, we need to refine this. So many people can't crystallize in 30 seconds, this is what I do. So you really need to work on that, number one. In terms of what people are doing that's innovative, I think it's not necessarily innovative. It's just good business practice. But it's not telling necessarily the story that you want to tell. It's telling the story that's going to resonate with the audience. So it's really figuring out not only who am I, but who am I to you? Who do I want to be to you? And what's going to make it super relevant and resonate and memorable for people? So I think it's not necessarily one thing people are doing. It's paying attention to how that story is going to be communicated and understood by the audience, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's just basic business. If you can't communicate it, if people don't get it, if it doesn't click, they're not going to remember you and they're not going to come back.
Everyone needs to think hard about why you're doing what you're doing. We don't want to blog for the sake of blogging. We don't want to be Facebook and tweeting for the sake of tweeting. You really need to think about what your marketing objective is, right? What is it that you're trying to communicate? How are you engaging? And all of social media is just one mechanism. If your audience, and this goes back to what Jen was saying, that you want to go where your audience is. If your audience isn't online, there's no point in doing any of this stuff. You want to be doing radio spots, you want to be doing TV ads, you want to be doing newspaper print, right? But if your audience is of a demographic where they are engaging online and they want to engage online, and then you want to think about, well, what do they want to hear? Why are they online? And then you engage in that way.
I would certainly encourage those that are on social media to find 1 or 2 that you really enjoy using and use it effectively, because what's going to happen is you're going to excel so well in those areas as opposed to trying to figure out 10 different platforms.
I think people don't understand the power of their advanced search and what it can do and how you can connect with the people that you want to talk to and that want to be educated about the products and services that you have.
Search engines are looking for fresh, timely content, basically. So it's paying attention to your blog. So if you have a blog that is very topical, very much related to your business and about the industry you're in, your blog is really, really important part of that. Actually, a lot of social media is. I like to use the terms, it's like you're leaving breadcrumbs all over the internet. And all these little things that you're doing are the breadcrumbs that lead back to your primary element, your primary site.
As a salon, especially nowadays with instant information and data, sometimes I get overload information from brands. I don't know if you guys witness some of that, but sometimes I have to hide a company because it's like, okay, I get it. There's every 20 seconds there's a tweet. So it's also good to be a little absent. You don't have to be on every hour or every, if you don't want to be on every day, at least be on every other day or every other 2 days. So I myself am a consumer. Just because we own a business and we're up here doesn't mean we don't buy and purchase products. I do the same thing. I'm sitting right there with my clients and stuff. So I know I don't want a salon pushing products every day saying we're having a sale, because at the end of the day, I get it. If I want to sell, I'll go to your shop. But it's good to leave that absence. And I've learned that just because of my own experience. So I don't tweet a lot. My Facebook is maybe once every other 2 days. But lately, this past week, it's been a lot just because we have a lot of events. I'm trying to keep up. And to answer your question about the likes, a lot of our events that we do and the stuff that we engage in, I don't I don't go out seeking the likes. It's just as we're doing our events, meeting with people, they go and like our page themselves. I don't set a campaign to, look for tons of likes or anything like that. So that's what I'm doing. It's been working for me.
So if your objective is to have a platform with which to kind of put out press releases on a regular basis, more or less, to tell people what you guys are doing, that's more of a fan page, kind of one-directional conversation. You might get some comments back, but all the conversations are surrounding your comments. A group allows people to talk to each other a little bit better. And so that will increase engagement amongst the customers. So it really depends on what your objectives are. And I want to go back to that earlier question about LinkedIn versus Facebook. Again, I think most people tend to use LinkedIn as kind of an electronic Rolodex. Mm-hmm. You go look for people when you need those people. So if your objective is to keep track of people, that's a great tool. But if your objective, again, is to connect and engage with your customer, Facebook's usually a better mechanism for that.
So we have all these social tools which allow you to put content there. Now, going back to the website, which should be your online presence. So blogging is your way of telling story. Now, where it differs is the tools that you use. Like, for example, today you decided that you're going to have a link on your website to your Tumblr blog. That can be set up in probably 10 to 15 minutes. And then you say, hey, my objective, going back to what Wendy said, is to tell everybody about what's happening in Souny's salon. You say, the celebrity walked in, take a picture, put it on the Tumblr blog and say, we are so excited. Take a picture of one of her employees who's having a birthday and they had a small party. Now, as a customer of a business that is showing me what's happening behind the business, because I think human beings like to get behind the scenes story quite a bit. And blogging would be your way of telling your story. Now, all these other tools that we have been talking about are a good way for that to spread much more than just being a page on the web.